But like, so then it'll roll into Gotham Knights, which not exactly necessarily a tonal shift in the sense that, we are still doing superhero television, but it's very much a teen show in an era of CW in which they wanted to move away from that. Um, I think that Gotham Knights is going to be a grower for those who are interested. Like, if you are going to watch the premiere, you're going to need to give it episode 2 as well. Like, you can't bounce from the series. I am going to bounce from the series. But I think that's just a reflection on like what I'm looking for in my television right now. I don't think it's necessarily a reflection of the series.
Yeah, because I think we all kind of had a lower bar after the trailer, because the trailer, after watching the episode, really didn't do the pilot really any favors. I was, I mean, not as blown away as like after we watched Wendy and we were like, what? Why were they hiding that? But like objectively for me, because I I have seen The Dark Knight. I have seen The Dark Knight Rises. Don't remember the second one, but oh my God, remind me to tell you guys a story of when I went to see The Dark Knight Rises because it's really funny. So I don't have any like feelings attached to the Batman universe, Like I'm just watching as a fan of the CW shows. I'm tuning in as an objective viewer. And to me, it was an entertaining hour of television for the most part. Like you would think that based on the reaction of fans who are just like praying for its downfall based on nothing, that it would be like this hot mess, but it wasn't. Like it was objectively, I think, good. It was not unwatchable. It like I'm not gonna. You can't, if you say that it was unwatchable, then I don't know. You have some misplaced beef. I thought it was great. I thought it was good, better than I had anticipated. Um, but yeah, like they didn't really market the teen aspect of it too much, I feel like, because there were scenes where like Turner was giving like Chuck Bass and like, I don't just there was a teen aspect that lured me in as like a fan of teen dramas who was kind of a casual like superhero fan. So like to me it was a successful pilot, not the best of the three that we've seen from the CW, but you know, for what I saw objectively, it was fine. It was a good hour.
Yeah. And it's interesting because like I feel like out of the three of us, we have our love of teen dramas and we have our love of superheroes. So a show like this should draw all of us in. And I think the first trailer, like Reed said, did not do it any kind of justice whatsoever because I feel like ever since it came out, everybody has been prepared for this show to fail. The bar has been on the floor and everything. But I do just want to say that the pilot was a lot better than I was anticipating it would be, and I was not underestimating it in the way that other people were. It was. The thing I struggle with Gotham Knights is that I feel like this could have been a huge hit 4 or 5 years ago. I feel like it just kind of missed the boat of the teen drama and
Yeah.
superhero eras on this network. But I do think that the show is still full of potential. And I like that Sabrina said that it's a grower because I do agree with that completely. Like, maybe it could have done a little bit more in its pilot to get us there. But generally, I think that the show still has a lot of potential, particularly because the dynamic of its teen characters, the Gotham Knights, if you will. And I can't wait to see more of that. Again, we were sent the first 6 episodes, but the way we do things is we review the premiere because that's going to be the first episode that everyone sees. I am going to watch the next 5. I can't actually wait to see them because I feel like the show is going to get better as it goes on, which is why I hope people stick with it. It's not the most perfect, everything came together on the night kind of the pilots, but generally, there's a lot to work with there, and I think it will get better as it goes on. I just think it needs to find its footing. But again, it's bigger than the trailer implied it would be. It's better than the trailer implied it would be. There's a lot of good in there, and I feel like with growth, that could become a lot of great. And it's, again, at the worst time for a show like this because even the best of shows sometimes will not get the platform they need because the CW and DC are in eras of change. But I'm going to hold that hope that this show can at least have an excellent season long run. I don't know how successful it will be, but I do think it could get there in the end. I'm not the biggest fan of the show yet, but I think I could be by the end of its run. So I'm not. I don't like to see people hating on the show. I don't like to see people turning against the show, and I'm certainly not going to be one of them. I'm a DC fan through and through. I have a lot of hope in the series, and I think it could get there by the end of it. So I'm holding out hope for it.
I'm about to do something a little blasphemous. But if I had to compare it to another teen superhero drama that was a grower that people ended up falling in love with, I would say Marvel's Runaways.
Mm.
And I remember I got invested into that show because I had read the comics, so I was going to give it a chance. I remember when I watched the first episode, was not feeling Runaways. They had changed a lot. There had been a lot of focus on the parents, which wasn't something that was they did in the comics, and it was a little slower paced. But I feel like if you're someone who enjoyed Marvel's Runaways, if you stuck it out to see the rest of the episodes, then if you did the same thing for Gotham Knights, you probably will end up falling in love with the show. It's a type of, everyone's dynamics are interesting. They play into certain tropes we're used to, like Duella is, I mean, she lived up to her name, right? Like she's like capricious and mercurial, but she's fun. And Turner, because he's an OC, I know people are already like, we don't care for him, we're writing him off. And you could do that. You could decide to do that, or you could just give him a chance, just to see what they decide to do with him. He might end up being a blend of different Batman sons. He might not be. He might be his own new thing. But I feel like writing Gotham Knights off, if you're someone who does want to give it a try, maybe if that isn't the move. For me, I said I wasn't going to watch it again because I just want different things for my television. But I think there needs to be room for people to be able to say that's not for me. But that doesn't necessarily mean that shouldn't be on the air. Like I wouldn't say that Gotham Knights doesn't deserve to be on the CW. It definitely deserves to be on the CW. It definitely deserves.
It feels like a CW show.
It feels like a CW show, an earlier CW show, which is interesting. We're very leaning towards. I think you had said late WB, early CW.
Yeah, like the early, like 2007 when the CW was still. It's like, you know, like the early 2000s when we were like, is it the 90s still? What are we doing? That's kind of like the tone of the show when the CW was like, we're kind of still the WB, but we're also trying to be this new thing. So it was like, to me, I was surprised by getting that feeling that I was like, oh, this feels CW to me, which I was that was maybe the most shocking part of the show. I enjoyed that.
Yeah, I know. I am completely with you on that, because an example is like Birds of Prey, which was released in the early 2000s, and there are a lot of similar qualities in this. The like dull Gotham City, the like original story built out of the Batman mythos. Yeah, there's a lot in there that I feel like it's like a blend of different eras, and that's quite interesting, because we said the same thing about the Winchesters and Walker Independence. So I hope these 3 pilots don't turn into like the CW's greatest hits tour on the farewell of what it was, because there's so much potential, and Gotham Knights has so much potential, and I hope people give it a chance, because I've given it one chance and I'm ready to move on to the next by watching the next 5 episodes, and I hope people stick with it, because there's a lot to work with there, and it could be one of the most fun shows on, not even the CW, on TV, in the same way that Riverdale was. So give it a chance, remove yourself from the situation, go in blind and have a good time with it, because that's what I did and I enjoyed it.
I like the aspect of going in blind. It's like leave your DC knowledge at the door
Yeah.
and just enjoy the show.
This is an Elseworld story.